Hello, I'm jdawgg, and this is going to be my intro to COD UO mapping. Wyatt Earp has made just a ton of Call of Duty tutorials, video tutorials, but everybody has their own style to making a tutorial, and some people prefer mine over his, so here's mine. Right now, this is going to be the raw basics. I'm just going to show you how to move around your radiant so that you can start making your first map. I'm going to also make another tutorial which will show you how to make your first room. And then, I have other tutorials. You can go to modsonline.com and you can, find my video tutorials. I have more complicated things like terrain blending and making roads and stuff like that. Right now, though, first thing first, this white background's got to go, because especially when you get into a complicated map, it's hard to see because it's going to be black on gray a lot. You're going to have, if I draw out a brush here, alright, it's black on gray. Sometimes it's hard to tell if it's an actual brush there or if it's just a grid space, especially if you line it up with these thicker grid spaces. Alright, it gets pretty hard to see. Like, you could easily overlook that when it's late at night, 2 a.m. and you're mapping. So what I want to do, I'm going to delete that. I'm going to show you how I'm doing all this in a minute. Go up to Mist, go to Colors, Themes, and go to Black and Green. This is a much better theme to use, easier on the eyes because it's a darker background, and it's easier to see because if I draw out a brush, now it's white outline. It's going to be very hard to miss that. Now the way I'm doing this, I'm going to draw out a brush, a big block. Alright, I'm just going to drop in an actor. Again, I'll explain how you do this in a minute. This just gives you a perspective to what I'm looking at, okay? Here's my actor. I'm looking at my top view, top down, looking down at his head. Alright, you can see his arms coming out to the side. And there's the block next to him. First thing first, scroll wheel in the wireframe window, alright, the 2D window. That's zooming in and out. Notice it's not manipulating my brushes at all. Right clicking and holding in the the wireframe window changes my view. It doesn't move the objects, doesn't move the brush or the actor, alright? Over here is your 3D or your view window. Alright, right clicking and holding in here and moving your mouse, you can just get a feel for how you move your camera around in the COD Radiant. If you hold control and right click and then drag your mouse, you can go up and down on a fixed plane and left to right on a fixed plane. So you'll use a complex combination of using the control key and just the normal right click and drag. Just get a feel for that right now. This is your texture window. This is where all your textures are loaded into. We'll use that in a later tutorial. We probably won't use that too much now. This is your scripting window. It'll tell you when you've saved your map and all that good stuff. Over here is your Z-axis 2D window. I never use that. Just ignore this little thin one. If your windows aren't aligned like mine, you can hover over this little mid-section and go ahead and, move them around. I like my setup the way I have it. Okay, so we've covered how to move. Now, for selecting, I'd recommend do all your selecting in the view window. Alright? Shift, left click, selects in the view window. And it highlights in a pink and you get it outlined in red here in the wireframe. Hitting escape deselects. If you shift left click, you can queue up selections, alright? So I now have my actor and my brush selected. Hitting escape once will deselect both of them. It deselects everything. You can press escape as many times as you want right now. It's not going to do anything to your map. So if you're not sure if you have something selected, tap escape a few times. Alright, when I'm mapping and when I'm ready to deselect something, I always just press it 3 or 4 times real quick. Just force of habit to make sure nothing's selected. If you have both of these selected and you only want to deselect your actor here, shift left click on him again will deselect him, but keep this selected. Alright, these are just little tricks. Shift left click, you can toggle on, selecting, deselect. Alright, Control Tab comes down and cycles through your front, side, top views. And you can see exactly how this is oriented. This is looking straight down to the top as if you're hovering in the air on your belly looking down at your map. Control Tab once brings you to the front, XZ front. And that's as if you're looking at your map like this. I'm sorry, I lied. It's like looking like this. Alright, we got our arms coming out to the side here, just like that. And Control Tab again goes to the X or the YZ side. And there you go, it's looking at your map like this. Alright? These are just the 3 different perspectives. Got to get used to it. Okay. Manipulating brushes. The way I drew this brush in the first place is I left-clicked and dragged. Just without anything selected, left-clicked and dragged in the wireframe. Alright? And now I can let go of my left click, I can scroll out, I can move my view around with it selected, it's harmless. If you left click and hold in the middle, it's still selected because it's outlined in red, and it has your dimensions going. If you left click and hold in the middle of it and drag it around, you can move its location, and you can see it in that 3D window, it's moving. If you left click and hold on the outside of the box, you can resize it. So you can make it nice and narrow, make it like a wall, you can make it wide, and make it like a big building. Control Tab to the side view, while it's still selected, it hasn't edited it, I'm just changing my view. I can go ahead and paint it and manipulate its location on, on the Z-axis. So I'm moving it up and down right now. And if you left click above it, you can change its height. Again, that's why I say I don't use this little bar over here, I use this. I just go to the side view and manipulate my heights that way. And going to my, well, that was my front view, going to my side view, it's the same deal. I can still edit the height, or I can edit the length. Alright? Back to my top view. Hitting escape again deselects. If I want to delete something, you select what you want to delete and you hit the backspace key. Control Z is the hotkey for undoing, just like if you're typing in Microsoft Word, Control Z will undo. Alright? If you want to delete multiple things, select 2 things and hit the backspace. You can undo multiple things. Just little tricks. So we have our brush here. Alright? I'm not going to show you how to hollow it out or anything. That's going to come in my next tutorial. But there you go. That covers how you move around your Radiant. Alright? Scroll wheel zooming in and out, right click and drag moves your views. Alright? It can right click and hold and drag can also move your textures. So, that's just, or scroll wheel does as well. There you go. Oh, one last thing. This is your camera right here. This is like your eyeball, and this is your left peripheral, and this is your right peripheral. So if I move my camera around in the view window, I have to move my wireframe to update it. There it is. I'm looking at this brush and this guy at that angle, and there it is right here. So that's just something to take note of. So that's how you get, that's how you move around in your Radiant. And my next tutorials will cover how to build an actual room. So thanks for watching. I hope that helped.